Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
A very good evening and welcome to the news at 9. Coming to you live from the Newsfirst Centre in Colombo. I'm Katrina Chang and these are your headlines. Van plunges into the Detagamo tank in Katharagama, killing 5. 9-year-old survives the tragedy. The bodies of the 10 persons who were killed in the accident in Arlagangville yesterday handed over to the relatives. Adverse weather affecting the island to continue. Public requested to take precaution to prevent lightning-related accidents. Death toll from the South Kent ferry accident rises while the captain is placed in custody. Let's now join the main news desk for details of these stories and much more.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy Chang, for bringing us tonight's headlines. Good evening and welcome from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid. You're watching Weekend Primetime News. On to our top story for tonight. A journey that ended in tears. Newsfirst last night brought you the gripping story of a group of individuals who were on their way to visit their relatives in view of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, meeting their untimely death when the tractor they were travelling in veered off the road and plunged into a canal in Arlagangville. The accident claimed the lives of 10. Even before these tears had dried up, less than 24 hours after the accident, a separate accident was reported this morning from Katharagama. 5 persons died and a 9-year-old survived the accident. Newsfirst Zulfik Farzan filed this report.
A group from Katugasota met with a tragic accident when their journey was cut short by the waters of a river.
Members of the same family from Ambadhanna Katugasota had been travelling in this ill-fated van to Katharagama this morning. The van had plunged into the Detagamo tank at around 4:30 this morning.
The bond is very narrow, and as you can see, the van had gone into the water backwards. We ask that the authorities take steps speedily to construct a protective railing.
The police suspect that the accident may have taken place after the driver fell asleep behind the wheel. 5 people were killed in this accident.
6 persons were in the ill-fated van and only a 9-year-old survived. It was the sole survivor of the accident who had tipped off the area residents.
More often than not, one heroic act saves the lives of many. But in the case of this accident in Katharagama, everyone except the sole survivor drowned. The survivor of this tragedy, a 9-year-old boy, had swum ashore and travelled to a motel around 500 meters away from the location of the accident and had informed the people there of the accident.
I was right here when the child came running. He told me that his uncle, aunt, grandmother and grandfather have to be rescued. I accompanied him to the location of the accident. The van was underwater. We dragged it ashore with the assistance of 2 pickups and sent them off to hospital. They were dead even at that time.
It was less than 24 hours ago that a hand tractor veered off the road and toppled into a canal in Arlagangville. Now, this accident claimed the lives of 10 people, and the bodies of the deceased have been placed under the same roof as funeral preparations get underway.
10 members of the same family died following the accident that took place last afternoon, and their bodies are currently lying at the residence of their mother in the Vijayapura village in Lihiniagama. The victims were from Horana, Lihiniagama, Dehiatakandia, Vijayapura and Salasumgama. The group met with the tragedy while en route to visit relatives for the new year. Minister of Health Maithripala Sirisena paid his last respects to the deceased this evening. District Secretary of Ampara Neil D. Alvis announced today that a sum of 20,000 rupees will be paid as compensation to each of the 10 deceased persons for funeral arrangements.
Our correspondent Prasad Rupasinghe visited Arlaganville and filed this report.
This group of persons entered the ZD Canal Road from this location along the Arlaganville-Dehiyatekandiya Road. They decided to travel through this road because they wanted to enjoy the view of the surroundings in the area. But what they were not aware of was that the decision decided the fate of many.
The road goes over the ZD Canal at two locations, and tragedy struck when the tractor attempted to turn at one of these locations. The ZD Canal was constructed in 1978 in a bid to supply water from the Maduroya Reservoir to the Mahaveli B zone, and it was used for operations since 1982. The canal is 20 feet wide and 25 feet in depth. According to our correspondent, 4 persons had died during the first 2 months of the opening of the canal for operations, and a number of wild elephants had also met their end after falling into this canal. Locals say that although there was a safety fence erected on either side of the canal, certain persons had made away with these fences. The police point out that reckless driving is the root cause for such accidents, and if such accidents continue to take place, the law will be enforced severely.
These accidents could be avoidable. Respect of the first accident that occurred in Arlaganville area, this accident has happened due to the speed and overloading passengers, and the second accident that occurred in Kataragam area happened due to the negligence and the stress of the driver. And constantly we have informed through the electronic and print media to take appropriate precautionary actions in order to avoid accidents.
It is our view that when you are behind the wheel, it is important to be cautious about your surroundings and remain vigilant. It is not only you. You are also responsible for those travelling with you.
Meanwhile, Newsfirst U reporters B.M. Rashad from Samanture and Pasan Bhagya Nanyakara from Veerakatia filed these reports today.
An accident occurred in the Samanture area on the Ampara-Kalmane main road this morning. The accident occurred when a Sri Lanka Army pickup veered off the road and crashed onto the fence. One person was injured and was hospitalized. The jeep was badly damaged by the accident.
Newsfirst U reporter B.M. Rashad Samanture සිට
An accident occurred at the Godokumburu junction in Beliyatha at 8 this morning. A 55-year-old woman crossing the road on the yellow crossing after visiting relatives and was run over by a passing motorbike. The locals in the area took measures to take her to hospital, but she succumbed to injuries en route.
Newsfirst U reporter Pasan Bhagya Nanyakara Veerakatia ප්‍රදේශයේ සිට.
Now, in the case of most of the accidents you just witnessed, the driver was at fault. But don't road conditions too have a part to play in accidents? It is no secret that a number of roads in this country are potential death traps. Tonight on Action TV, we take a look at one such road.
Road development does not merely mean the laying of carpets or concrete. When roads are developed for the benefit of the country's citizens, one should also bear in mind the road safety regulations and, most importantly, the safety of pedestrians. When obtaining lands from locals in the area for the widening of a respective road, it is imperative to take into account the land acquisition laws that are in place in the island. Incidentally, according to law provisions, the state can reclaim private lands and property for road development purposes under one condition: reasonable compensation needs to be paid for the land owners. Thereby, the state reclaiming private land without following the proper procedure to grant compensation is a violation of the law. However, it is a violation of the law to provide compensation for a property that is to be used for widening of the road to be kept intact once the road development activities commence. When one takes a closer look at this road, it bears testament to the fact that the law has been clearly violated. There is no pavement for the pedestrians to move about, causing pandemonium during traffic, and road rules cannot be implemented owing to the poor design of the road, and locals view this as an outrageous situation. This is the main road from Negambur to Divulapitiya via the Kopara Junction and Mirigama. During the propaganda campaign undertaken at the recently concluded Provincial Council polls, the ruling party of the Western Provincial Council took into their shoulder the responsibility of carpeting this road. However, residents in the area claim that more needs to be done and blame the recent election for the haphazard construction of this road.
There is no drainage system. It's been years since machines arrived here. They dug up a hole as deep as a well. The people also travel on the road. Accidents are reported on a regular basis. Though a lot of money was spent, the road was not widened. Based on the traffic situation here, there is a need to widen the road. If a vehicle stops on the side of the road, this adversely affects the flow of traffic. Everyone is subsequently affected.
The haphazard construction of this road has only left more questions than answers to the public residing and also using this road. This one is over to the attention of the new Minister of Road Development of the Western Provincial Council.
According to the Department of Meteorology, thunder showers may be experienced tonight as well. The department says that showers or thunder showers may be experienced along the western and southern coastal belt. Meanwhile, gale force winds have damaged homes in a number of areas. The Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Pradeep Kodipili, said that district secretariats and the DMC have taken measures to provide compensation to those who were affected by the adverse weather following an estimate of the damages caused.
Heavy rains accompanied by gale force winds which were experienced in Anuradhapura and its surrounding suburbs left a number of houses damaged and obstructed vehicular movement. 18 houses were damaged in the Tiripani area in Anuradhapura due to the adverse weather conditions. A part of the roof of the North Central Provincial Council was swept away due to the gale force winds. Incidentally, the roof was recently repaired after gale force winds blew a section of the roof away only a few days ago.
Strong winds and rain swept through this area. It happened in an instant. It blew the roof away. We did not even feel it. The entire roof was blown away because of the winds. The roof fell apart. It was blown 75 meters away. Some of the metal debris blew over to my land and was scattered here and there. If it fell atop a vehicle or a human being, it would have done much harm.
Our correspondent said that a further 10 houses were left damaged due to the strong winds. Trees which fell atop power cables have also disrupted the power supply in the area. Meanwhile, a tree which fell across the Anuradhapura-Dambula main road in Kurandankulama disrupted vehicular traffic.
We spoke to every relief centre. None of them arrived to provide relief. The entire electricity system has collapsed. Even vehicles cannot travel on the roads. We removed a fence so that vehicles could pass through this road. After 8:30 last night, the people from the village got together and removed the fallen tree. The people from the relief centres came after 11:30 p.m. By then, we had cleared the area. They had nothing to do.
Last evening, a number of houses in the Mahiyangana area were left damaged by gale force winds and heavy showers which lasted for an hour. Our correspondent stated that the Sorabura, Meghapitiya, Dehigolla and Kokahitiya tanks and a number of houses in the village were damaged. Communication lines and power cables in these areas were also destroyed. The winds changed direction and blew across the area.
We were stranded. There was nothing we could do.
The entire year we have been notifying the board to cut this tree. They did not cut it. Our kitchen was destroyed within 5 minutes. The adverse weather conditions also affected the Marakurudunni Vava area in Bilgamo, Matale. A total of 50 houses were damaged. The Department of Meteorology advises the public to take necessary precautions to avoid lightning-related accidents. During such weather conditions, standing in high elevation without protective cover, bathing in lakes, loitering in open-air spaces, standing under trees and travelling in open-air vehicles may cause lightning-related accidents. The Met Department also advises against the use of electrical appliances, telephones and bathing in the open.
We expect these weather conditions to persist in numerous areas across the island throughout this month, especially in the evening and night. The rainy weather condition will last for about an hour or 2 hours. We request the public to take adequate precautions to prevent lightning-related accidents. Before moving on to more local news, let's take a quick look at the forecast highs for the next 24 hours. Well, here are some of the views that were expressed on the attack on a group of United National Party parliamentarians who were engaged in a fact-finding mission at the Mattala Airport and the Hambantota Port.
We urge the government to immediately arrest those politicos who displayed firearms and those who challenged the public representatives. Bring them before the law. We would like to mention that we will present a united front against this attack.
The UNPMPs were never attacked. They were not even touched. I clearly deny these reports and it is evident through the TV footage. The TV footage and the photographs will be a testament to this. I went to the location for their safety. I have not committed any wrong. However, I must mention that the MPs that came here were defeated politically.
The government claims that there is a democracy in the country. This government goes to Geneva and talks about democracy here. However, we would like to note that Hambantota is an area where armed gangs involved in murders are roaming about freely. His Excellency the President must direct his attention to this situation. The Inspector General of Police too must look into this. This attack was carried out while the police officers at the Mattala Airport and the Hambantota Port looked on. The vehicles were damaged.
Certain issues can be raised here. One is that public representatives were challenged with firearms. On the one hand, under the Parliamentary Privileges Act, there is a certain degree of responsibility. On the other hand, we are not sure whether a license was issued for the firearm for self-defense.
හම්බන්තොට OIC මහත්තයා යකා කළුද කියලා අහන එක ගැන අපිට පුදුමයක් නැහැ. මොකද ඔය හම්බන්තොට යකා ඉන්නේ ඔය මේ OIC ලාගේ සාක්කුවේ.
There is talk about a pistol. I say, conduct a proper investigation. If I am found guilty and if the United People's Freedom Alliance or the Sri Lanka Freedom Party levels an allegation against me, I am not prepared to cause an inconvenience to the government or my party. They say that the police looked on. The police did not have any duty there. I spoke to them and wished them luck and sent them off.
This port is of no use. Because of the fear they have that someone may speak bad of the port, they showed guns and chased the people away. We cannot expect any form of justice from the police. Those MPs such as Ajit Pereira who went there are those who protected Ranil Wickremesinghe. They need to know that because the opposition is not strong, opposition members are faced with such a fate.
India is considered to be an outliner amongst democracies in the world. As the 2014 elections in India turn into a face-off between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, the Election Commission of India served a show cause notice to regional Samajwadi Party chief Mulayam Singh Yadav for allegedly threatening contractual teachers in northern Uttar Pradesh state to vote for his party or risk losing permanent status. On the grounds of prima facie violation of the Model Code of Conduct, the Elections Commission has asked Yadav to come up with a response or face action.
Chief of India's Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, said that he will meet party leader Kumar Vishwas, against whom a complaint has been filed after he sat on a protest inside a police station after an officer refused to register a case against Vice President of ruling Congress Party Rahul Gandhi, his sister Priyanka Gandhi and some of his supporters.
They are
planning a conspiracy against me. I came to register an FIR, but for almost 8 hours, police was seen talking to their seniors to register the FIR. The police had no courage to file a case against both Rahul Gandhi and his associates. Thousands of party workers sat on a protest, but finally they filed an FIR against me under IPC Section 144. This shows that democracy in Amethi is over. The region is totally run under Congress-influenced thugs.
Well, Newsfirst has been comprehensively covering the elections since the dates of the polls were announced. Now we have our correspondents based in New Delhi, Chennai and Karnataka. Our bureau correspondent based in New Delhi is A. Valamarthi. He joins us now for more on the very latest.
As of now, it has been predicted that the BJP will be the single largest party and the single alliance. But one significant point that pollsters have noticed that almost 40% of the pollsters wanted Mr. Modi to apologize for Gujarat in 2002. This is a very important point. Even the projection of Mr. Modi, Narendra Modi, as the strong leader who can lead the nation. The other factors like the nuclear copper or other politically sensitive points are not the major issue in deciding in casting the vote. That is the mood of the voters here all over in Delhi.
Narendra Modi, the Prime Ministerial candidate of India's main opposition Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP for the 2014 general elections, is seen as India's most divisive politician, loved and loathed in equal measure. Tonight on India Decides, Newsfirst looks into the life of this Indian leader.
Narendra Modi, who has been Chief Minister of the western state of Gujarat since 2001, is seen as a dynamic and efficient leader who has made his state an economic powerhouse. But he is also accused of doing little to stop the 2002 religious riots when more than 1,000 people, mostly Muslims, were killed, allegations he has consistently denied. In the run-up to the April-May polls, Modi's face is plastered on hoardings almost all over the country. When he was named as the head of the BJP's campaign committee in June, Janata Dal United, a key ally of the BJP-led NDA, left the alliance fearing that it would lose the support of Muslims in the state of Bihar, where it ran a coalition government. Modi became an international pariah after the riots, the US denied him visas and the UK cut off all ties with him. But a decade later, the controversial politician has been reintegrated into the political mainstream. A brilliant speaker, the Hindu Hardline Party's poster boy is often called the BJP's brightest star, and his supporters began a spirited Modi for PM campaign much before the party overcame some stiff internal differences to anoint him the candidate. Modi may polarize public opinion in India and abroad, but he has also been credited for bringing prosperity and development to Gujarat and enjoys support from some of India's top industrialists. As a result, he has been re-elected 3 times as the state's chief minister. While those who benefited during his time as chief minister applauded his return to power, for the victims of the 2002 riots, his victory was just one more symbol of injustice. He has never expressed any remorse or offered any apologies for the riots, and many Muslims displaced by the violence continue to live in ghettos near Ahmedabad, Gujarat's largest city and commercial capital. Frontrunner to become India's next Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, launched another attack on ruling Congress party yesterday, quoting a television report that stated the involvement of incumbent ministers of Congress cabinet in an illegal meat export scam.
Four ministers in the federal government have been involved in the illegal meat export with a private company. And a great accusation has been placed by a TV channel that a leader residing near 10 Janpat residents of Congress President Sonia Gandhi has been involved in illegal meat export business. Congress's ego is on cloud 9. They do not feel that it is their responsibility to answer the people of the nation. They have spread the stain of coal to Kanpur.
A true demagogue. Well, tomorrow on our special coverage on the Indian elections, we take a look into the scion of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty and the ruling party's Vice President, Rahul Gandhi. Stay with News First as we bring you the latest developments and insight on the elections in the world's largest democracy.
Developing story brought to you by Vela yogurt is made from fresh milk, sourced from the highest quality dairy cows.
The Around the World team which departed the Netherlands reached Berlin in Germany earlier today. The team that is aiming to raise awareness on the World Conference on Youth 2014 toured the Falkenberg area along with Sri Lankan Ambassador Buddhi Athauda. Newsfirst Ramesh Rugal Bandara reports.
Around the World in 40 days.
The Around the World team departed from The Hague and travelled a distance of 230 kilometres to the Falkenberg area, which borders Germany and Belgium. They were welcomed in Falkenberg by area resident Joe Waters, who is also an active social worker in Sri Lanka.
Every time I come to your country, and mostly it's 2 or 3 times a year, I see very much difference from the country. I see the people want to live together, also Tamil and also single and Muslim and everyone.
Their first stop in Falkenberg was the city of Maastricht. Here they were able to tour a university and hospital that works hand in hand. Thereafter, the team toured the old Maastricht city, which has full of old Dutch architectural creations. Most of the buildings in these areas date back several centuries. The Around the World team's next stop was the Atlantic College, which is a special school for differently abled children funded by the Dutch government. The school provides them with a school education and rehabilitates them to deal with the day-to-day issues that they face. This oddly shaped building is a special structure constructed as a vacation home for children of Atlantic College. The Around the World team also visited the famous Falkenberg caves, which served as sanctuaries and bomb shelters during the World War. These tunnels, which stretch on for hundreds of kilometers, were tunneled in search of sandstone. Once inside, they were also able to see numerous works of art.
Following an half-an-hour tour of the Falkenberg cave, we have come out. Now, there are many such caves located in this area that were used as tunnels and shelters during World War II. Now, we are due to go to a special dinner organized by the residents of Falkenberg on behalf of the Around the World team. Later, we will fly to Berlin in Germany for our next leg of the tour. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara with Yasrat Kamalsari from Falkenberg, Netherlands.
On to more local news. The suspects in a robbery which occurred in a mobile accessory shop in Avisavela have been taken into police custody and remanded. The robbery had been recorded on the CCTV cameras at the shop.
The suspects had entered the shop, which is located in the Avisavela town, through the roof about 3 a.m. on April 1st, while the incident had been recorded on the CCTV cameras at the shop. During the investigation, police have been able to arrest 5 suspects from Yatiyantota and Ratnapura. 54 mobile phones, telephone reload cards worth rupees 10,000 and a laptop which they had in their possession were seized by the police. Meanwhile, investigations regarding the robbery which occurred in a jewellery shop in Negombo are currently underway. 30 individuals have been questioned regarding this robbery. A special investigation team headed by SSP Jayanthali Anage has been appointed to conduct further investigations. 6 individuals who arrived in 3 motorcycles wearing full face.
According to the latest data obtained from the 2013 annual report of the Central Bank, it is evident that there is a sharp increase of new male expatriates last year.
According to Central Bank's annual report for the year 2013, there has been an increase of 9% of males seeking overseas job employment in 2013 when compared to the same period in 2012. Furthermore, 2013 also saw the highest number of male expatriate workers within the span of 9 years. According to the classification of workforce, the number of female domestic workers in the year 2012 stood at 119,011. The data released also indicate that this number reduced to 96,943 in 2013, which is a reduction of 9% compared to the year 2012. Data obtained from the annual Central Bank report also reveals that the number of skilled overseas workers have increased from 67,150 to 73,600 in 2013 compared to 2012.
The captain of a South Korean ferry that capsized, leaving 29 people dead and 274 others missing, was arrested today. Speaking to reporters upon his arrest, Captain Lee said he delayed giving evacuation orders because he feared that passengers would drift away.
Yonhap News Agency said Captain Lee Jong-sok faced 5 charges including negligence of duty and violation of maritime law.
I had ordered passengers to leave the ferry at the first time, but later I told them to stay in the ferry because there was no rescue ship.
2 other crew members were also arrested. Video footage showed the South Korean captain of a ferry that sank off South Korea landing at a port in the coastal city of Jindo with the first group of survivors, leaving hundreds of passengers behind on the sinking vessel. The 69-year-old captain was seen in the video filmed by South Korea's Yonhap News Agency on Wednesday, the day when the ferry capsized about 12 miles off South Korea's southwestern coast. In the video, which was exclusively filmed by Yonhap News Agency, he was walking on the dock and putting a blanket over himself at a shelter. Yonhap News Television said Lee hid the fact that he was the captain of the sinking ferry from the rescuers. South Korea's Coast Guard continued to conduct search operations for about 270 missing passengers of a South Korean ferry which capsized. Hopes to find survivors are fading away as the search operation has entered its 5th day without finding a survivor among the missing. South Korean divers have been struggling with strong tides and murky waters as they search for more than 200 passengers still missing after a ferry capsized off the coast earlier this week. They said they saw bodies in a submerged cabin where many were believed to be trapped but were unable to break the glass to retrieve them. The discovery comes amid stalled search efforts due to strong tides as hundreds of Navy, Coast Guard and private divers scour the site.
Meanwhile, a boat carrying more than 60 passengers sank in eastern Indonesia, killing 7. 30 people were hospitalized and 17 others were allowed to go home after treatment in the hospital. The passengers were out at sea in a procession to celebrate Good Friday off the coast of Larantuka on Flores Island. Relatives gathered at a local hospital to wait for news of their family. According to authorities, the boat capsized due to strong currents. Well, you can tune in to Primetime Weekend News tomorrow night to catch all the action from the Chinese Grand Prix. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nadim Majid, wishing you good night and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.